There's a lot of supplements that are just people on TikTok trying to sell you something you don't need. But there are a few supplements that are hard to get from food alone that is backed up by real evidence and are recommended by educated people. These are three supplements that I personally take myself that I highly recommend taking if you train consistently, especially if you're doing a combat sport. The first thing I recommend taking is magnesium, and the main reason I take this is for my sleep. There's a very noticeable difference in the quality of my sleep when I take magnesium and when I don't. And as I've mentioned in other videos, there's a lot of things you could do for recovery, like ice baths, sauna, and foam rolling. All of those help, but the main thing you're going to do to actually recover your body and brain is sleep. But magnesium has a lot of other benefits too. One thing is that it's actually great for your muscles with doing things like preventing cramps. But if you do decide to pick it up, when you go into the magnesium section, it could be pretty overwhelming because there's like a bunch of different options. But the one you're going to want to take is magnesium glycinate. The next thing is omega 3s. You might know this as fish oil. And I've heard many people talk about this, and there's a bunch of benefits to this, like helping your joints, also with inflammation. And when I was doing my personal training certification, I learned that omega 3 fatty acids are really good for your heart health. So if you have heart problems, this might be something that's good for you to take. And all of these benefits are great, but the main reason I take this is for my brain health. And I've heard a lot of credible people talk about it, like Dr. Andrew Huberman, but I decided to take it after watching a YouTuber called Simon Boretz, who's a brain health researcher. And he explained that omega 3s are basically the building blocks of your brain. And since I do a combat sport, I try to do anything that will help with my brain health. But like the magnesium, there's a lot of different options for different kinds of omega 3s you could take or different kinds of fish oil you could take. But what I do is I take krill oil. This is for no particular reason. It's just the YouTuber I used to follow, John Meadows, he would take it. Also, this is what my dad was taking at the time. And if I'm being completely honest, there is that meme of the krill trying to escape the swarm and being one in a krillion. And, that kind of also influenced my buying decision also. But as long as you're taking some form of omega 3s and you do a little bit of research about the manufacturer, you should be okay. Now, the last thing I take is creatine, and there's two main reasons why I take this. The first is because I once had a teammate, and at the time he was benching 285, and a little bit later, like 2 months, he was doing 315 for reps. And I asked him, "Bro, what are you doing differently?" And he responded, "Bro, that creatine is magic." And when I started taking it, I could confidently say it is because I was lifting way more in the weight room. I felt more athletic during practice. And during practice, I overall just felt more mentally sharp, which goes into my second point, and that's because of the benefits it has for your brain. Again, Dr. Andrew Huberman has many videos explaining the benefits creatine has for your brain. Also, in the UFC concussion protocol, one of the things they list to help heal your brain after a concussion is taking creatine, along with omega 3s, actually, which is something I forgot to mention in the previous point. But I'm just going to be honest, it will be hard for me to articulate the exact reason how creatine helps recover your brain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link a video by the YouTuber I mentioned, Simon Boretz, where he explained perfectly how creatine helps your brain. And he explained it much better than I could. And similar to the other supplements I listed, there is a lot of options when it comes to creatine, but the one you're going to want to take is creatine monohydrate. And one thing I will mention is I know it might seem a little bit shady ingesting a white powder into your body, but just know that creatine is one of the most researched supplements that there is. But like I said, there's a lot of supplements out there, and a lot of supplements I've experimented with over my years as an athlete, but these are the three supplements I could confidently recommend. But if you have any questions or need any clarification on anything I just said, just ask me in the comment section below. But I talked about brain health a lot in this video, and if you want my other videos on brain health, I'll link them in the description below. And if you're new to the channel, my goal is to help athletes and martial artists with their goals, so subscribe if you think this channel could help you. Also, here's another video you might like. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.